Hi everyone, and today's subject will be about Saint Anthony, and perhaps I will tell you a little bit more about Saint Thaddeus, Judah, an apostle, from one of the 12 apostles of Jesus, and maybe also Saint Mary. But this is considering the time of traveling and people losing and finding different items. And so many times it happened to me, especially in our Polish culture, that when you lose something, we have the habit of calling Saint Anthony in order to find our item, whatever we lost. And among all this, during those past years, it happened often that different people were losing items, and they sometimes people don't believe it, so they call me and say, "Can you pray for us to Saint Anthony?" And if they believe it. If they don't believe it, I suggest it if I'm around. And of course, there is no way to convince them. Like, how is that even possible? Whatever you believe, whatever you think is true, it's up to you. So the truth is the truth as long as it's the truth, and then it ceased to be the truth. I didn't quote exactly how my one of the favorite authors, Terry Pratchett, said that, but he said something like that. So I just recommend his books. Coming back to finding something you lost. It happened that one of my friends not exactly lost the car, but his car was stolen in the middle of the night. And of course, I was asked for some prayers. And I say, okay, if this car will be found, please say thank you to Saint Anthony. The car was found, but the people didn't really say any thanks. So sometimes I'm a little bit angry, harmed, hurt almost for Saint Anthony that I asked for it, and there was not even thank you if he did something. If there is such saint out there and he helps you, you could at least say thank you, right? And this year I managed to come back to Germany before all this our great year started fully. But in January and February there was a big celebration for Saint Anthony in Barcelona. Spanish people are big on Saint Anthony, and I lost my glove there. There was already 2 weeks. There was no way of finding that glove. It happened at the very beginning. So I didn't even ask Saint Anthony to find me that glove because you know, it's just a loss. Sometimes it's not so maybe important as keys or car, right? I can let it go sometimes. And during that celebration, I sent some positive thoughts to Saint Anthony. It's his celebration. Spanish are big on parades, and the city is pretty alive. And I hope it will be again after this year. Just my wish. So after that little prayer I went to the store that I was there only one time, and you believe it or not, but that glove was on the floor between shelves, and plenty people can pass by. There were plenty ways of throwing away that glove. It was very dirty, but it was laying down there on the floor. And a few days later, another incident happened. So my friend, who was in Germany at the time, in the middle of the night, he was going out, he lost his keys. And I was in the club. It was 3 in the morning in Germany. It was minus something degrees. He lost his keys, and I said, okay, let's pray to Saint Anthony. And he said, I don't believe in that. I won't pray. I say, okay, I will tell Saint Anthony to not find those keys for you. So I got really angry. I say, no, I'm not going to pray for you this time. And he didn't find those keys. Then, of course, I got a little bit, calmed down. A few days later, he got these keys, but that's not the story. I said that story. I was telling this to my other friends in Barcelona, and the girls were listening to it, and one of them said, look, I have I have a question. What if, could you pray to that Saint Anthony, or could we do something about it? Because let's say I lost million of euros. Could the Saint Anthony help me to find my million of euros? So I will leave you with that thought, what you will think about it. But it's a funny thing when we wish for something. It's always to be careful what you wish for, right? And this is this typical thing with coaching. When we want to close this gap between where we are and what we want, this higher ambition of ours, it's safer, better for some people to build up this ladder directly, because this gap may be just too vast. And it happened that one of my friends wanted to have whatever about prosperity her wish was, but it happened, she managed, but the process for those months she had to go bankrupt through that time, and a lot of weird stuff happened, but she managed. So if you're ready for that process, whatever it's going to take you, sometimes it's a way. If you wish for something, there is also very likely that you have to face the opposite of what you wish for before. So you have the understanding of polarities and both energies. I don't know if that makes sense for you, but I hope it does. So be careful about this wishing. Another one, there is this Tadeusz, I don't know how to say that in English properly, Juda in Polish language, and he's for cases that are helpless. And it's also, they say in Poland, in our culture, at least where I'm coming from, that if you pray for someone, it has a better and stronger impact than when you pray it yourself, when you ask yourself. So I was sent by someone to the church to pray to this specific saint for a job for a man that was in a certain age. It was very hard to find a job that time in Poland, almost mission impossible. And as a teenager, I went to the church and I said, oh my God, this saint was so crazy. So I threw a lot of negative sentences there. I said, no, I can't. I just can't. Like, really? And then I started to argue in my head a little bit, because it's very important when you don't believe exactly in something, but you still have a wish, or you wish someone good. So you need to find a way how to cooperate, make your subconscious mind to cooperate with you when you ask for something. It won't harm anyone if I still ask for it. But with my curiosity, I wanted first to come to terms with the Saint Juda, what is he for? And I got this message like, you don't understand energies yet, you don't understand this polarity, but let me show you. And of course I didn't understand much that time, but I prayed. This man got a job. As far as I use this lucky coincidence, I use that word, but I don't believe in lucky coincidence. I think everything is synchronicity, and that's just an opinion, and you absolutely can disagree with me. Just check it for yourself, because many times it happened to me that certain signs, I call it signs, happened to me like 3 times in a row, and I still didn't want to believe it, that there is something in it. And when I did react earlier, and I gave the proper reaction to something earlier, it worked for me than when I was delaying and I say, no, I won't do it, I don't believe it. And instantly when I sent that positive thought, sent that positive prayer, things were coming back to order instantly, sometimes within days or even within hours. But here also you have to be careful, because the co-creation is not exactly about creating everything you wish for. With the co-creation, you are still in the field. There are other people influencing you. There are there are powerful places. There are also historic moment for something. and there's your programming from the past, your incarnation, your maybe soul, tasks or experiences you chose. So there is a lot of components before you create. So be careful that, it's not exactly that you ask today and tomorrow it is given. It can. When there are with the components, like some people say, all stars have to be in the right positions in order something happens. And most cases, if there are nothing interferes and your wish is pure, the intention is pure, it happens. So that was with the Yuda. There was one more interesting incident. I was very little and I don't remember that story, but it was told to me from my family. So I was with my family on the Saint, we call it Częstochowa in Poland. There is a mountain where there is this Saint Mary portrait, and it is showed, and then people pray, and a lot of people who are sick are coming there because they believe that this mountain heals them, and being in that sanctuary also heals them. So there was a very, very hard time in Poland to get an apartment. It was also another mission impossible. And my family told me later that as this little child, I got out there, and because I was far away from this picture, I started to scream towards Saint Mary, please give my parents apartment, please. And the next day there was a phone call and my parents indeed had that apartment. I don't believe in I don't remember that, but as my family told me later, your grandma was so ashamed of you, you screamed in the whole church. So that was pretty funny story. So you maybe have such stories to share with me and share with all of us, and I invite you to comment or to share, because these stories, whether it's truth or it's not, or it's a synchronicity, there are certain energies in the universe that are connected with certain emotions and believing. It's enough to believe in yourself, but it's really jumpy, bumpy road to get there to yourself. It's another hardest thing to get to yourself first before you get to do anything else in the world. So believing in yourself, or the energy, or vibrate, connect, whatever is the right word for you, exchange it, whatever works for you, whatever talks to you. Choose another word. You don't have to follow my wording, and I will follow your word. So if you have a better one, tell me. Resonating, vibrating, being congruent with a certain emotions, energy. The same thing is with angels. Okay, just one story more about the angels. I also didn't have a specific connection with angels. Sure, in the Catholic religion, there are angels, they are everything, but we don't really pay attention. We don't really have a connection. We don't pray daily. Some of us, some do. It becomes the word, such a God, angels, they become a little bit like banal, everyday thing. Nobody pays attention. Sort of like a word love, that we know about it, but we don't really feel it. Not all the time, at least. And then when we hear some story, then maybe there's something into it. Maybe it's just a fairy tale, but it's nice to listen to it. So I wanted the time to find a publisher, and I couldn't do it. And a friend of mine, she sent me a necklace with a Archangel Gabriel. Of course, you know that I published and I found a publisher, but that's just another great story to share with you. And some of you also call the name Jesus. The name Jesus is also very widely known in every culture, almost all over the world. In some cultures, when they don't necessarily believe in Jesus, or they don't call it, or they have masters, like in the tradition of yogis, they have their personal masters from generation to generation, and a lot of teachings say to repeat the words of the name of the master if you have a problem, if you are in the trouble, to repeat instantly in your head the word of the master, even 1,000 times, 3,000 times, however you want, all the hour, in order to help you. And this master, whether it's still on earth or not, or in a physical form or not, will hear you, and thought, as we know, is non-local, will reach him or her, depending. So there is this prayer, little prayer in Polish language, Jesus, I trust you. And just by repeating that, sort of a mantra for people who do believe in Jesus, it's helpful. There is another one that also someone told me long time ago, so I share that with you. It's Jesus, son of the David, please help me. If you like to find out what it means for you, repeat it a few times and see how you relate to that. There is another forms, another masters, Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar, and many others, and everyone can find someone that resonates with. And you do need a personal connection. So if you feel something, if you are feeling a certain positive emotions, whether it's a warmth in your heart, optimism, hope, by saying certain name, then probably this is for you. Check it out for yourself. It's very important that, of course, we connect it with the feeling, with when we think about something. It's also saints, angels, masters, Saint Mary, goddess. It's also transfers to people in our life. If someone loves us dearly and wishes our all the best, and we, even though we don't want to bother this person, it happened to me a few times when someone had a problem. I dreamt about this person and I told her, hey, this and this happened, and this person whether was surprised that I know that something's going on in his life, or had also a dream, and it happened also the other way around. When I had a problem, I didn't want to bother someone. This person dreamt about me, or had a sudden thought about me, or called me, say, hey, I don't know, but I feel like I have this thought. That's weird. And not everyone believes in a sort of supernatural. Not everyone perceives energies, and we are different. We are perceiving the same thing on different level, from different perspectives, different perceptions. So it's all fine. But we do have thoughts, we do have feelings. It's just the name, how we call it, from what tradition we are coming from, and how we relate to each other. That's probably the most important. I think this is more or less it. I'm very curious. If you had such stories, share with me, because when we do share inspiring stories, they bring more inspiration into our life. That's what I think. And there is this thing, I was talking so many times about emotions, because I have a feeling like we still underestimate our emotions, how creative they are, how they are running us through the day, instead of we are, directing them, transforming them. So if you see something great, and you have these two roads of going the road of jealousy, and that will bring you down, because this person may not even know about you, and there is this other way when you can say, wow, this is so beautiful that this is happening to this person. This is great to be able to experience that. This is great environment. Yes, I do want that too in my life. But if you praise something, by praising it, what others have or are, you are bringing that quality slowly to your life. So I hope I was able to clarify or say that in a proper way, especially in English language. As you know, this is my second tongue, and I keep repeating that because some of you are maybe new on my channel and you need to know. So if I make a mistake with words, or sometimes I completely say another meaning, please correct me. That's totally fine with me. And today I am wishing you have a wonderful and inspiring day. Bye bye.